You ready to deep dive into the latest Dune Part 2 trailer? This new footage is packed with revelations and teasers that are sure to amp up the excitement for the next chapter in this epic saga. From the mystifying journey of Paul Atreides to the introduction of intriguing new characters and the promise of intense action, there is a lot to unpack. We'll explore everything from Paul's struggle with his destiny as the Kwisatz Haderach to the introduction of Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen as a formidable new villain and the brewing war on Arrakis. So strap in and let's break down what this trailer has in store for us and why it's got everyone talking. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Paul Atreides' prophetic dreams. The trailer begins with Paul experiencing prophetic dreams indicating his powers have been awakened by the spice melange. However, he is not yet the Kwisatz Haderach as he struggles to make sense of these visions. But who or what exactly is the Kwisatz Haderach? The Kwisatz Haderach in the series is a pretty fascinating concept. It's like this prophesied super being with some mind-blowing abilities. Imagine being able to see into both the past and future, and that's what the Kwisatz Haderach can do. This kind of prescience is way beyond what even the most powerful characters in the series, like the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers, can manage. Then there is this unique thing about accessing genetic memory. While the Reverend Mothers can tap into their female ancestors' memories, the Kwisatz Haderach has the whole package, memories from both male and female lines. Of course, we can't forget about the superhuman mental and physical skills. We are talking about abilities that go way beyond normal human limits. In Dune, Paul Atreides is the guy everyone thinks is the Kwisatz Haderach. His mum, Lady Jessica, is part of the Bene Gesserit. They had this big plan to create the Kwisatz Haderach through a careful breeding program, hoping they would control him. But Paul's arrival and rise to power didn't exactly go as they planned. In Dune Part 1, it was made clear that Paul was on his way to becoming the prophesied Kwisatz Haderach, but he's still pretty unsure about his visions, which is what he tries to tell Cheney in the trailer. In fact, one of the scenes has an ocean in it, but Arrakis is devoid of such water bodies. In all probability, Paul was probably seeing his homeworld, Caladan, but it could also be a vision into the future. You see, Paul Atreides II, the God Emperor, had managed to turn Arrakis from a desert planet to one with trees and rivers, much more habitable by humans, but this may be a bit of a stretch, I suppose. The spice agony. So it seems that Paul's powers have started to manifest to some degree, but he has not yet become who he is destined to be. Why? Well, because he still has a few steps to cover in that regard. This is where the concept of spice agony comes into the picture, a process so deadly that it can take lives. It doesn't spare even those who have prepared to take the step their entire life. We can see a bottle of blue liquid in the trailer. It seems to be a solution of spice melange, also called the truth-sayer drug, which needs to be overdosed by a subject so that it becomes a harmless substance in the body. Doing so will transform the subject into a Bene Gesserit, or in Paul's case, the Kwisatz Haderach, or the male version of Bene Gesserit. It is a dangerous step towards becoming a Reverend Mother, or the Kwisatz Haderach. The process involves consuming the truth-sayer drug, which is poisonous unless transformed internally. We get more of the newcomers. So Dune Part 2 is bringing in some fresh faces, and one of the big ones is Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen. He is set to be a major player as the new villain. He's the nephew of Baron Harkonnen and is all geared up to take over Arrakis once his family gets control. The guy's a serious warrior, super eager to live up to his family's expectations. What's cool is how Feyd-Rautha kind of mirrors Paul. They're both under this intense pressure to uphold their family legacies. They are top-notch fighters, and they're both kind of hungry for power. Oh, and in the book, Feyd was supposed to father a Bene Gesserit, so that's that. Watching these two go head-to-head is going to be something special, because Feyd-Rautha is like the first real challenge Paul has to face. You can see them ducking it out in the previous trailers. In the third one, he gets more screen time. Now, since Feyd-Rautha wasn't around during the invasion in the first movie, Dune 2 might take us to some new places, exploring some of the wider universe. This was something we didn't get much of in the first film, and it's a great way to dive deeper into the broader conflict going on. Plus, we've got Princess Irulan, the daughter of the Emperor, who's to be played by Florence Pugh, and the Emperor himself will be played by Christopher Walken. It was actually the Emperor who first sought to destroy House Atreides. Paul Atreides' dilemma. The trailer shows Paul foreseeing various futures, including one where he leads House Atreides to victory, but at great cost to the universe. Now, Paul seems to be having various versions of the future. It is possible that not all of these are true or bound to happen. I am sure Mr. Villeneuve is taking some degree of creative liberty in this regard, so that the film becomes more dramatic and layered. Warfare and sandworms. The trailer shows the Fremen preparing for war, including the iconic scene of riding sandworms into battle. In fact, this trailer is a total shift from the earlier ones. We are moving away from those thoughtful, slow burn scenes to some seriously intense action. There are going to be epic battles with the Fremen going head to head against the Harkonnens. And it's not just on foot, because there are some wild chases and fights with vehicles thrown into the mix. Denis Villeneuve isn't holding back this time. He's cranking up the action, and it's all about the war that's going to change everything on Arrakis. The trailer's packed with these massive showdowns. You've got the big players, the Harkonnens, the Atreides, and then there are the Fremen and the Sardaukar warriors, all getting into it in a big way. But you know what's really stealing the show? The sandworms. And these humongous spice-producing creatures would most definitely be ridden by the Fremen and Paul. These giants of Arrakis are more than just a backdrop. They are at the heart of some of the most jaw-dropping scenes. We are talking about visuals that are going to stick with you long after you leave the theatre. Bene Gesserit and Fremen Reverend Mothers. The trailer features shots of Bene Gesserit and Fremen Reverend Mothers. Now, both these groups have similar natures and functions, but with quite a few differences. While the former wear only black clothes, the latter are more liberal and vibrant. Even the process of spice agony is different for both of them. The Emperor's arrival and guild navigators. There is a shot of a ship entering the atmosphere of Arrakis, which is likely Emperor Shaddam's. Now, in the Dune universe, there was something called the Butlerian Jihad, in which all thinking machines were destroyed. After this, navigation through the cosmos became the job of mutated humans called the Guild Navigators. We saw one in the original Dune film, but not in Dune Part 1, and not even in the trailer. So it's safe to say that if the Emperor is coming to Arrakis, we'll get at least a small glimpse of a guild navigator. Character development. Changes in characters like Chani and Stilgar are becoming more and more significant, with Chani expressing skepticism about the prophecy and Stilgar's potential blind faith, which might be a welcome change of sorts. However, it looks like Paul and Chani are exploring their feelings for each other, with some pretty intimate moments thrown in, but it's not all smooth sailing. The trailer gives us a peek into how Paul's fitting in or not with the Fremen, and there seems to be some trust issues at play. That's all in this one. Do hang around with us for Dune content. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.